Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben. We're in the garage today. And, the last video I had when we were changing the oil and doing some service, getting the bike, getting 311 ready for the season, I mentioned that I had a time capsule, an Excelsior-Henderson time capsule. And that's what we have today, and this is what we're going to go over. So my grandmother, who was obviously married to my grandfather who owned the bikes, she has been going through things for the last almost 10 years. And I think this is the last of his Excelsior-Henderson parts. And I have gone through some of this, and I'm very excited to show you what's in here. There's a rear sprocket that is not coated. Typically, they're like coated black. And this one's just raw. Never used. It's dirty and somewhat corroded because it seems to be like milled aluminum. But, having a brand new rear sprocket, original, it's got the logo on it and part number and everything else. This is a great part. This is awesome. So we'll set that off to the side. Here's a old plug wire that he must have taken off. I think it's even might be a little damaged too. So there, some of the stuff, there's old parts that he just decided to keep, but I still think it's cool. In here are just some miscellaneous miscellaneous bolts and stuff. Nothing really pertinent. Here we have a strap for like a rear passenger strap for the rear seat. Pretty dirty, but still really cool. So now this is the part, I have this sitting on top. This is kind of the part that I get really excited about because I keep documentation of all the bikes. Every invoice, every part, every repair, I document everything and I keep all the files together. I have a lot of my grandfather Keith's files that he had on 311 and 400. So this one's pretty cool. This one is a accessory handbook for the saddlebags. And I have the original saddlebags, so I don't know if this was the one that actually came with that one or not. But still really cool. I'm going to put it in a sheet protector and go from there. Add it to the rest of them. Here we have from Atlantic Excelsior-Henderson, Jamie Jones. There's an invoice for some torque head screws, rear wheel, ECU connector pin, female. Here's another one for intake manifold ring, exhaust seals, lower ECU connector, oil pressure switch, which I have a video on that. We know what happens when that fails. Super X Tune software and cable. I still have all that. I just think this stuff was awesome. This is where he's got notes that he wrote down on some of the services, which is great to know. Here's another invoice. Machine shop charges to bore and fit stainless steel sleeve, which is going to be for the rear wheel hub bear. Really cool. So this would have been for 400 because 311 didn't have any of the updates. So this is really good because it continues to kind of complete the puzzle that I have for 400. Let's dig back in and see what else we got. We've got a factory mirror. It's in pretty good shape. Some stickers from the 2004 Riders Club Rally. An original Excelsior-Henderson oil filter, still in the original wrapper and everything, which I think this stuff is neat. I even bought one on eBay. I'm looking at it right now that I bought that's just like this one. Not going to be something I use, but for the memorabilia aspect of it, it's got the logo here. It's even got the price tag, $7.95. I just think that's really cool. We got some shift lever chrome covers. That's not really Excelsior-Henderson specific, but it may be it. It will work. Big bag of stuff here. And a couple other things in here. A starter. Still in the original package. I think that's just absolutely exceptional. Now this is really cool. We'll get this out of the way. Just show you what's in here. Battery cover, chrome battery cover, and a little bit of polishing. I think it'll clean up really nice. And I've got the strap to this too, which is funny. I was missing some of the parts, and this kind of completes a lot of the parts that I was missing. So we'll set it out of the way. There's some really awesome parts in here. Some really awesome parts. We've got wheel spokes. This is the ECU, I think, female connector. Yeah. Which I have another one of these, but it's always good to have. There's some factory connections that he kept. Some pigtails and stuff like that. A good front isolator, original one. We've got exhaust donut gaskets. Some loose hardware. This is a, what is this? I'll add it to the screen. I can't remember right off the rip, but I know that if this thing fails, this sensor fails, it's going to leave you stranded. So good to keep in the saddlebags. I think they're like 50, 60 bucks, maybe more. So it's a good score for me. Even more miscellaneous hardware. You know, it's got the screws and different bits and some exhaust things and bolts and all the good stuff that, you know, sometimes you strip one out, sometimes one might break off, and these are just really invaluable to have an assortment of screws, which I can add to my other collection. Keep moving on. We've got some steering, like handlebar triple tree isolators, which pretty much anytime you take the handlebars off, it seems like when you install a set of handlebars and the triple tree assembly on an Excelsior-Henderson, it seems like to me that they just kind of it's like a one-time use to me almost. It may not be true, but for me, they're cheap enough. I've ordered several sets and I've got more. So really just a wearable item, right? So the other thing that's really neat about this, there's two bags in here that have this business card in there. And I asked, you know, Mike Seastrom and a couple other guys that are part of the Riders Club and Excelsior-Henderson community. And this says Excelsior-Henderson discount parts, www.ehparts.net. Well, if you know now, ehparts.net, Mike Seastrom runs, and it's basically like the Amazon of Excelsior-Henderson. You can get any part that you could think of, really, for these motorcycles, and you could, you know, restore your own or fix anything you had. I mean, you can really get everything you need plus more, which is cool. But this guy's name is Terry Calalane, and he's got information there. His old business card, obviously, probably early 2000s, mid 2000s. Well, I guess the story kind of goes, and you may have to correct me if I'm wrong, anybody knows, but when the company went under, Excelsior-Henderson, when they filed bankruptcy and went under, the company, which I believe was Swift, like Swift Trucking, bought most of the parts, shipped them down to Arizona to kind of make their own motorcycle clone, and they were doing something motorcycle related where they thought that they could use the parts. Well, they found that Excelsior-Henderson parts are proprietary and only work on Excelsior-Hendersons. So it was no use to them, and I guess this guy was associated or either bought the parts from them and then kind of started online sales and started selling the parts. Well, later Dan Hamlin resecured the parts, and the story kind of picks up from there. But really cool history to see that my Grand Prix was ordering parts from these guys, you know. So good set to have. These are exhaust manifold nuts. They don't even look like they've been used. There's some intake manifold gaskets, which is really neat. There's another pigtail, connector pigtail. These I believe are in, these are like the little plastic connectors that go on to, gosh, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I'll add it to the screen. But anyways, there's a YouTube channel, and I can't remember his name. I can't remember anything apparently right now. But I'll add it to the screen. He has a YouTube channel or a YouTube video on a deadwood that he's rebuilding, and he actually makes one of these. He machines either aluminum or a steel one to replace the plastic that deteriorates over time. But long story short, I've got two of them, the plastic original ones. More intake manifold gaskets and a couple of the other O-rings associated with the fuel injectors. We got a brand new spark plug, another one of those business cards. Man, there's a lot of stuff in there. We got a brand new spark plug. We got oil pressure switches. We've got intake air sensor, more pigtail connectors. What is that? Another sensor that I can't recall right now. And a spark plug solenoid, ignition solenoid, which is really cool. And these really don't fail. So I'm wondering if he just kind of was tracing down an issue and just decided to replace this. It'll be interesting to test that to see if it actually failed or not, because it's uncommon. So I've been told that these actually fail. So it could still be a good part. Got another baggie here. We've got original, not updated, isolator chrome caps. And we've got a set of front brake pads, which are brand new. The passenger seat bolts for the fender, and some manifold bracket mounts. Really neat there. Okay. I know I'm kind of cruising through this stuff. This one is going to be my most favorite find. This is like the treasure at the bottom of the ocean. This is the best part. If you know, you know. These are 3 fuel injectors. One is used, I believe. It really looks like it looks brand new. I won't know until I send it to Mike to see if it's used or not. I suspect that it was taken out and the one was replaced, but I'm not 100% sure. It looks darn good though. Now these other two in these with these blue caps on, these are brand new. There's 2 brand new fuel injectors. Well, from what I understand, this is one part that is not being remanufactured right now. So there's no more being made, and there's not many brand new ones that are actually out and about. So if I'm right about that, this is a huge score. And I'm super excited about this, because being able to have some good fuel injectors, brand new fuel injectors, is really awesome. And they, like I said, still have the caps on them, and they show 0 signs of being used whatsoever. Those 2 I know are good. The one in the middle, I'd like to send to Mike to see if it's good too. And that would be a good spare. What does all this mean? Well, one, it means that I've got some history from my grandpa. I really appreciate that, because if you don't know, he passed away in 2016, and I acquired the motorcycles, the 400 and 311 from him. And that's kind of what's pushed me into the Excelsior-Henderson community, which has now led me to make YouTube videos and to serve on the board for the Riders Club and to just be as involved as I can, because I really love these motorcycles. And that's why I like sharing them with y'all. So other than that, you know, I've got decor, I've got fuel injectors, I've got O-rings, which seem to be sealed in bags. I mean, they still seem very pliable. I've taken them out. They had nowhere. They've been sitting in a climate-controlled environment for, well, 26 years or more. So I've got tons of gaskets, brand new ECU connectors. These are just exceptional parts to have when you have motorcycles like these. And I mean, if you've ever worked on anything or have anything that's considered a classic or unique vehicle, then you can understand that, no, these are really cool, not only because they were my grandpa's, but to have more parts you don't have to, one, buy. A lot of them are original, and they're already here. They're crazy. It's the starter. I mean, these aren't cheap. And this one's brand new in the bag. Never been used. And I just love being able to see the label and, not that I haven't heard of the starter really being much of an issue, but for whatever reason, my grandpa secured one, and he never used it, obviously. The starters that are on those bikes are still original from the factory. In the unfortunate circumstance where one may fail, I've got one. And it's got a sentimental tie to it. So it's like, man, I really feel like I wish I could thank my Grandpa Keith for these parts, but it's nice to be able to have them. The sensors, like I said, the old pressure switches, when they fail, man, do they make a mess. But now, it's one of those things that's good to keep in the saddlebags. This sensor here, when it fails, it loses your standard. And it's an easy enough fix that you can do on the side of the road and get you back on the road, which is really nice. The assorted bolts, like we said, we've already hit on how important that is. Isolators. This is a wearable item. Yeah, this is just one, but Mike at ehparts.net, he sells originals and updated ones too. So to buy another one, I have a set that might last 3,000 miles, right? But that's still 3,000 miles that saves me a little bit of money and gets some more life out of it. So that's awesome. Spokes, man, I've got millions of spokes because I've had two bad wheels that have gotten bent or warped or, damaged in some capacity. So I've got tons of spokes, but can you really have too many? I don't know. Probably not. The manifold gaskets, anytime you take the exhaust out, it's good to be able to replace those. I've got 2 sets. I've got 3 motorcycles right now. Probably gonna have more as time goes on. This was just a huge, huge win for me. It's exciting to have the paperwork to kind of puzzle together some of the missing links that I had, and being able to just have this stuff to add to my collection of parts. If I'm out on a group ride at a rally and people need other parts, and you can help people out. And that's what it's all about in this community, is helping owners and riders and people who are interested in them get into these motorcycles. It's so important for y'all to know that these parts are totally available. And you can ride these bikes reliably, you can repair them, you can fix them, you can modify them, just like you can anything else. And you can have even more fun on an Excelsior-Henderson than you can anything else, in my opinion. And my bias, sure enough. These are cool because I get to add these to the collection of stickers that I acquired from my grandpa. This is 2004. I've got them from 1998, 99, 2000, 2001. I think I'm missing 2002. Maybe he didn't go. 2004. I think I've got a 2006 in there somewhere. Just to add to the collection of the memorabilia and awesome things that I've acquired from him and on eBay and things like that. Hopefully you get some entertainment out of this and some excitement like I did. This is a big win for me, and I just wanted to share it with y'all because, like I said, it's not every day you come across a time capsule like this where it brings you so much joy, and you get to find stuff like these coveted fuel injectors. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you watching. If you get the opportunity and you want to, like and subscribe. It helps me out, and we can continue to further the brand recognition of Excelsior-Henderson and get the word out that these motorcycles are awesome, and you can truly enjoy them for years and years to come.